What's going on, everybody? This is Paulio Jr. and in this video I'm basically I'm going to need a little bit of your attention because I'm not going to be able to show you everything step by step, so please pay attention as much as possible. What this video is about is when you are not able to get into Windows at all. When you're starting up your computer and no matter what you do, you cannot get into Windows. So we would start with the basic steps, and the first thing would be when you turn on, what we want to do is to be able to get your files without formatting the hard drive, without or doing anything like that yet. So we want to get your files off of the hard drive, and then from there, do what you have to do with the hard drive. So our main focus today is to get the files off your hard drive. I'm going to do this as quick and efficiently, and make it as simple as possible for anybody who's having any difficulty getting into Windows. To just retrieve files, that's basically those are the things that you want. You're like, oh shit, I need my files, I need to get these off, and you don't have them backed up, you don't have them anywhere else, you just have them on the hard drive. So we're gonna do this step by step and do the very basic ways first, and then move into the other ways that you can do this. So right now I just have this up, and I'll get into that. But the first thing is, I remember, pay attention. The first thing is when you start up your computer, you would just continually tap the function key F8, and you would just sit there and just tap it until those prompts come up and it says, start Windows normally or safe mode. And what you want to do first is, at least try, is do the safe mode. And you can try all of them, but I always try safe mode with networking first. If you can get in there and get to your files and then put them on a thumb drive, awesome. If that doesn't work, try safe mode with networking. And then this is what safe mode with networking would look like. It would basically come up as a command prompt like this. And what I'm showing you right now is what you would type in. This actually fixes a lot of issues with all the versions of Windows in general. Even when I used to do computer repair full time, this thing saved my life. Saved a lot of computers and saved my ass a lot of times. And once, like I said, you would start up the computer, tap F8, go into safe mode with networking, and if you can get into there, and once you do, you would type this chkdsk, so check disk /R, and you would hit enter. And since I'm actually running the volume, I'm using the hard drive right now, so I can't do it right now. You have to do it outside of the operating system. And so if you do happen to get this prompt right here, because a lot of times it'll just, if you're not in Windows, it would typically just go right into it. You would just hit, if this does come up, you would hit Y, and then you would hit enter. I'm not doing that right now, so I'm going to hit no. And what you would do is you would let that check disk run, and sometimes it can take anywhere from a half an hour to 2 hours. And that fixes a lot of oddball issues with Windows, and would actually, I would say 90% of the time, allow you to actually get back into, once that process is completed and you restarted the computer, you would be able to get back into Windows. And the first thing you would do would be to get all of those files you need backed up onto an external hard drive, onto a thumb drive, to wherever you need it to go. So those are our first two options, trying to get into safe mode. The next option would be using the actual Windows CD-ROM that you have, hopefully, that is already, so like this is Windows 7, so I would have a Windows 7 32-bit home premium bootable CD, and I would put that CD in, start up the computer, and make sure my boot options would boot up the CD, and then I would go through the installation process like I would as if I was starting it from scratch. And in that process, you can this is actually one I would actually maybe hold off until maybe till the end, but a lot of times when you go to install it, you don't format the hard drive, you just click install, and it'll say, okay, well, there's a version of Windows already installed on this, so what we're going to do is put all of your files into when that installation is finished, it'll be in the C drive, and it'll be in a folder called Windows.old, not Windows.old. And when you're in there, basically this is what it would look, whatever you had on your C drive would be in Windows.old from your old C drive. And then from there, same thing, get your files to a thumb drive, to an external hard drive, whatever you need to do, and go from there. And that is something that as long as that prompt comes up, I would say go for it completely, and you'll be totally fine. As long as it says that's what it's going to do, then do it. If you don't get that option, then do not do it. Do not follow through with the installation. And the other options, of course, are taking out the hard drive and plugging it in, putting it into a different computer and trying to. So this is real quick. So this is if you have an old hard drive from a PC, and this is a very simple explanation. This is the old IDE, what they call ATA hard drive, and it has all these pins here, and then it has this little switch, and you would basically plug this into a different computer. You would put this switch into, once you flip the hard drive over, you'll see either master, slave, or cable select in here, and you would put it to either slave or cable select. And I would probably say just do it as cable select, so it does it automatically. Plug in the power, all that good stuff, and when you turn on that computer, it should come up in my computer or whatnot. And if it doesn't, what you would do is look up computer management, and you would go into there, and you would go to, and this applies the same thing for the SATA hard drives as well. You would go to computer management, storage, disk management, local, and then all the hard drives that are connected to the computer would pop up as long as they're identifiable. And if they are not coming up in the computer, basically what it means is that a drive letter has not been assigned to it. So how you have a C drive, a D drive, an E drive, and all that good stuff. And you would right click on that disk, and you would click, it would be change drive letter and path. And you would add a path, or not change the path because it wouldn't have a letter if you're in here. And you would click add, and you would just make that. So I'm going to click change on this, and this little prompt would come up, and you would just pick whichever letter you wanted and so forth, and then that would come up in my computer, and then you would be able to access the files from a different computer if you really wanted to. But that's just another option. And same thing is, the cool thing is if you did have a SATA hard drive, they're a lot easier. So you just even if it was in a laptop or in a different computer, just take it out of the laptop. You can plug it in the same way that you plug in a SATA hard drive in a computer, and plug it in the computer and do the same thing, and it should pop up, and you should be able to get your files and so forth off of it. Typically, it's just some kind of weird error, or some some bootable error that's happening within Windows. So. But what I'm focusing on today is using a Linux operating system, and it's called they have a newer version now. They call it Kali Linux, and this is their official website, Kali.org. I still prefer to use Backtrack 5R3 because it is one that I'm used to, and I still think it's very, very user friendly. I think the interface is very easy to use, and it has no issues with having all the drivers that you need and all that good stuff. And this is the website, because they don't actually support it anymore on the Linux website, so you have to go somewhere else. And this is Softpedia, and whichever, you would click download now, and you would get the image file, and you would use the GNOME one, whichever processor you have, a 32-bit or a 64. So I have a 32-bit, so I would click 32-bit, the GNOME, and it will come up, and then it would just start going, whatever web browser you're using, you save it, and then really depending on your internet speed, it's about 2 gigs. It really doesn't take as long as it used to a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago. But anyway, you would let that .iso finish, and you would actually burn it. Obviously, you're doing all of this from another computer because you wouldn't be in here, and you would use what's called Power ISO. There's a whole lot of other programs out there, but Power ISO is definitely, I believe, the most efficient and most compatible, and has the most functionality compared to all of the other ones that are out there as far as burning ISOs and mounting image files to USB drives and so forth. So this is the other program you would need. Power. That's the only program you need. This is the only file you would need. Would be the actual image file for Backtrack, or if you did want to use Kali, you can do it both ways. But I still like Backtrack 5 R3 is my favorite. And so you would download Power ISO, same thing, and run it, install it, all that good stuff. You would go to Power ISO, and you don't have to register, but you can. And continue unregistered. You would go right to burn, and you would click this guy right here. So it says image file. You would click this little folder. You would find where that .iso is, and then you would open it, and then you would burn it, and make sure you're using a DVD, either a DVD minus R or a DVD plus R, and that's for burning it to a DVD. If you really want to, you can format a USB drive and go to Tools and create bootable USB drive, and go to the same thing. You click that folder, find the ISO image, or .im. It's a .iso image, and you would find that, and then you would just start that up and try that. So, but I still go the DVD option, because the USB option does work, but I just never run into any problems with burning it to blank DVDs and so forth. So, and then from there, after you've done that on that separate computer, you would take that CD and pop it into the computer where your hard drive is at, where you want to access the files before you do anything with the actual hard drive. So I'm going to stop this recording and then go and use my HD camera here to show you what that Linux Backtrack 5R3 interface looks like, and how simple and easy it is to use. So we're going to skip to that. So if the volume level changes, excuse me for that. It's just a really good camera, but with shitty audio recording for whatever reason. So we'll work on that. Okay, so what I've done here is made the Linux Backtrack 5R3 DVD. Putting it in. My computer's restarting because I hit restart, and we're going right into I think it's whatever the fuck it is. So make sure you have, so when this boots up, you just hit enter. So make sure you have you might have an option that says, like up on the screen, boot option and so forth, and you would just click your CD-ROM drive and just hit enter on the first one, and that's it. And we're going to let all this load, and then I'm going to stop recording and come back to once it comes to the next screen. Now this is the screen that comes up first, and it says to start a graphical interface, type start X. So I'm just typing start X, and if it asks you for a password, it even tells you it's just root backwards, TOOR, and then it should bring us into the Linux operating system that's running off of the DVD we just made from the ISO file that we downloaded from Softpedia. And basically, I have an external hard drive plugged into the USB already, but I'm going to use this guy anyway just to play around. So you can use an external. Obviously, I would suggest using an external hard drive instead of a thumb drive. But so now we're in the interface of Backtrack 5, and Backtrack 5 right now is not running off of a hard drive. It's just running from the CD and running off of your memory rather than running off of a hard drive. And as you can see in mine, it's actually all of my hard drives come up. And even if you have a wireless adapter, if you're using whatever computer you're using, this pretty much supports anything network related, which is very cool. The older Linux operating systems did not support all of them, but they really, over the last couple of years, have everything anyway. So what we want to do is just we'll go to computer just to make this simple. And these are all my hard drives that are plugged in. So I have my main drive, I have my external, I have a 250 in there, and I have 160 in there. And even as I'm speaking, what I'm going to do is plug this guy in. And this guy isn't anything special. It's a 512. So I'm going to plug this guy in real quick if I can. Let's see. And it comes right up. So there is my there's my thumb drive that I just plugged in. So, and what was that? Yeah, 507. And so, and it has that eject button as well. Now this, don't worry about it. It is an external hard drive, but yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, if you want, you can eject it whenever you want. So this is where we want to put our files. The thumb drive or the external hard drive that we just plugged into to the USB port. Now, hopefully, your hard drive that you want to get your files off of came up. So whatever it is, I'm going to close this out real quick. I'm going to go back to places and go back to computer. So this is my hard drive. This is my main hard drive, and I'm going to view this as a list just to make it look pretty. Yeah, we'll do this. I guess, sure, whatever. And because if you're not familiar with how the C drive works and all that good stuff, from Windows Vista and up, it's basically users, and then whatever user you want. And then for me, I would say a lot of my stuff is actually in either desktop or documents or something like that. So I would go to desktop and I would find what I needed, and I would say, okay, I need journal, or I need whatever it is, Paul's folder. And what I would do is I would copy it and not copy to. I'm just going to copy it. No, I'm not going to do that. That folder's way too freaking big. I'm going to copy the Sezek timer. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go to my thumb drive, and I'm going to paste it into there, and that's it. And so everything from that timer is in there, which is beautiful. So, and then that's all you really want to do. But like I said, I would get everything you need off of it and put it on something bigger, depending on what you have. My terabyte external hard drive is fine for me. I don't have a shit ton of movies and music and all that where it would eat up a whole terabyte yet. So not that I need. And that's all you would really do. And it's a very, very simple interface. And even if you really wanted to, you can go to applications, and you can go to internet, and it has Firefox already built into it. And you see slowly that these different hard drives are popping up on the Backtrack 5 desktop. And we've opened up Firefox. And from Firefox, we can go wherever we want. So we could go to, say if you have a Google Drive account or something like that, and then you just say, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to upload the files to there for whatever reason. Obviously that would not be the suggested way, because if your hard drive is on its way out, if that is the case, then I would get them off as quickly as possible, the files that you need. So I would say put it onto some kind of external hard drive or thumb drive, more an external hard drive. But hey, whatever you need to do to get the files off, even if you're just looking for specific files, you will find them and all that good stuff. So like I said, you just want to go to places, computer, find your hard drive, and then go to, if you, like I said, Windows Vista and up, I believe it's in users, and then your name. If you're using XP and all that good stuff, I feel as though it was you would go to documents and settings first or something like that. I haven't used XP in a while. And then you would just kind of siphon through here a little bit and see where all your stuff is. But it's really actually a very, very simple interface, and I'm just kind of looking around. I do use this every once in a while, not as my main operating system, obviously, but regardless, it's still very simple to use, and they did not make it difficult at all. So it allows you to browse different software, use different programs that Backtrack has already installed on it. They have a lot of cool things that you can do in their command prompt, and I'm sure if you look up Backtrack 5 on YouTube, you will see how, and maybe I'll do something down the line where you can do a lot of cool things with that terminal, but that's not what we're doing today. So once everything's copied and all that good stuff, I believe you can just go to System, yep, and then you can just shut down the computer, and then this will all come up, and then as soon as it's done, it'll basically eject the CD like so, and then please remove the disk and close the tray, and then press enter. So we're doing that. So now we have all our files, and we're going to click enter. It's all on our thumb drive or whatever the case may be. And then you would start up the computer again, and like I said, maybe from there, if none of the other options work, just see if you can reinstall Windows from scratch with the CD or with the bootable thumb drive, typically with this the DVD that they gave you. And that is all. So I really hope that helped you guys out as far as getting files if you're not able to access Windows directly. Those couple of options that I've just described on getting, at least being able to access your files and get them off the hard drive, just in case anything else were to happen. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you everybody for all the views and all the subscribers that I've been getting. Yeah, subscribers, whatever the hell they are. And listening to me scratch my head and say a lot, so I appreciate it. And that is all I have. If you have anything that you want me to do, anything at all, please suggest it, because I am more than happy and more than willing to Fucking play around with anything. Just fuck around, So, thank you guys again. Appreciate the support. Peace. I will see you guys soon. Later.